there's also, you know, when things happen, when it's unexpected, when you didn't have time to plan, you got the family home. And what happens? Now, mom, dad, somebody has to go into the care community. And the kids are like, what are we going to do with the house? Who's going to clean it out? How are we going to, we're going to have an estate sale? How are we going to sell it? Oh my God, it needs all this work done. Look at how old this kitchen is. We need to do a new kitchen. We need to fix the bathroom. We need to do this. We need to do that. Oh my God, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. What I have learned from experience is if the money is put into anything other than something truly cosmetic, that might be like some, oh my God, the color on the walls is so bizarre, and somebody says, oh, or, you know, we'll just do a quick paint, something like that. But if you put real money into that house, you will never get the money back. Never get the money back. Plus, you got to find contractors to do the work. I will tell you one of the worst things out there, in case any of you have not had work done on your home, is trying to find people to come in and do work on your house, whether it's construction, plumbing, electrical, whatever it may be. They just don't, they don't show. They're trying to do multiple jobs, so they spend a little time here, here, and here, and they never get it done, and it goes on and on and on. So you don't want to deal with that. And the other problem is, who's going to front all the costs? My old neighbor, her father-in-law died mother-in-law died in September one year, and the father-in-law died the following July, but in the meantime, he ended up going into assisted living because the mom had hidden how bad his dementia actually was. They had no clue till she died how he really couldn't live alone. So they're scrambling to get into a place. And so, you know, Debra gets the phone call because she knows everybody. So I, you know, go up there and I'm going, okay, let's look at this realistically. So they get him moved, and now there was the arguments about who's going to take care of all of these expenses. And of course, one out of the 4 boys, that him and his wife had done very well. And then the others, it's not like they didn't have anything, but they go, but they've done really well. They can front the money. And of course, the brother was ready to do it, and the wife goes, are you know what me? You know, there is no way we're going to do that. You know, and plus they ended up, or I should say she, the daughter-in-law, ended up cleaning out this house, doing all the stuff, getting the realtor. And she said, I did the work. I did all the work. Did I get thank yous? No. And so, you know, I mean, it's just, it's a lot of stress. And to say, what does he need to take with him, and that sort. So, you know, there are people out there, real estate investors, there's companies out there that they will come in and they, you know, the good ones. Now, there's some that'll try to take you for a dime, you know, that they want to get a really good deal. But the good people that will try, that could come in and work with the family, they would walk in and say, if the house was fixed up, here's the retail price we could probably get, okay? Because everybody knows. Here's what we could get. Now, we know we got to fix it up. We're going to deduct that. We got to make a little bit of profit. We deduct that. So, here's the deal. You take what you want from the house, from the condo, whatever you want, and take your time. When you think you have everything out, here's how much we will pay you, and here's the price. They will not charge, a lot of them that work like that, there will be no closing costs to you. You know, as a seller, you have to pay for the title insurance, the recording fees, all that sort of thing. They take care of it. There's no fixing up. There's no clean out. They will say, here's our number. And what I have found is many times, if you have to spend the money, go the traditional route, and you're spending the money to fix stuff up and do all that and get it emptied out. I mean, I had a client that dropped, oh, I still can't believe they were so overcharged, 18 grand to have a company come in and clean out the house. What the heck were they thinking? I didn't know it until I started doing their tax return. I said, oh my gosh, they got taken for a ride. So, you know, again, you can go and have the, you know, you can say, here's how much. They'll say, here's what it is, here's the contract, and whenever you are, you know, want to move, we can move. And that works out really nice because it takes the stress off the family. Take what you need whenever it happens and get it done.
What's the advantage of a real estate company doing that? Because it seems like they're making less money than...
Oh, it's not the real estate company. That's usually investors. Investors who work with seniors.
Okay.
And there are investors who will come in and, try to truly take advantage of your situation and give you pennies on the dollar. We're not talking that. And I have seen where when I run the numbers, the good people that will do it, they're doing it because they want to help you. Yeah, they'll make a little bit of profit, but it's not like, oh, we're going to give you 10 grand for something. They're out there. They're out there. Well, you got to be careful who you put out word of mouth to. If you ever get to that point, and again, on my handout, I have my phone number. I can tell you some people to talk to. There's because again, I've seen where somebody on a place that was worth like $150,000, they bought it for 25 grand. That person is not the one, and that was because somebody had to go into a care community and her cleaning lady said, oh, by the way, and this person jumped on it, and he's kind of sly like that, and that's not right, okay? There's also there's also some people that out there that they'll say, well, we know you have equity here. And we want to make sure you get the best dollar possible. So some of them will say, how about if we'll call it joint venture together, where we will help you fix up your house, we'll front the costs of getting it fixed up, and then when it's sold, first thing we do is along with all the closing costs and everything, we'll get our money back, and then any actual profit we'll split 50-50, okay? And that takes the worry off of the person, the family, and they know that the place will be sold, and it'll get sold at the highest possible dollar that way. Instead of you sit there going, I know this house, if it was fixed up, could be worth so much more. So there's people out there that can do that. There's people out there that can help you with downsizing. There's a lot of different downsizing firms. There's so much out there, and most people don't know. So one of the things, start Googling. You can Google, downsizing firms. You can contact me, and I can give you names of people you can talk to. There's just so many things you can do, and again, in the whole process, what you really also have to do, and I can't emphasize it enough, is when the person has to move, the most important thing is, what is the best place for them? And what I'm telling you about at the end, where somebody, people can come in and takes the worry off of fixing the place up, emptying it out and all that, that allows the family to focus on the person going into the care community. The day my mom died, I got the phone call and I'm out of state, told the person, not really good timing here, and that there was a gentleman in Clinton Township that needed to go into an American house, and kind of dire. And I go, oh, well, my husband was still in Michigan. He hadn't come over because my mother had just died, and oh, by the way, that death wasn't expected. I was there for a visit, and 6 hours after the visit, she has a heart attack. So, life happens. So anyway, so he went and visited, and so what was interesting is within 3 weeks, because they had to wait an extra week for me to get back to Michigan. Within 3 weeks, the deal was made. They had moved the dad. They took out whatever they wanted, and we handed them a check. And then actually we told the son, since it all happened so quickly for them, that if there was something, they could come back for another week and get whatever they wanted to out of the place, because they had to move at a time when it was totally unexpected. But again, there's services out there, there's people, there's companies that can help you out if you don't know where to turn. If you call me, I can give you some ideas. Yes?
You haven't discussed reverse mortgages.
I'm gonna.
Okay, and auction houses to get rid of the stuff.
Okay, we're gonna get there. I'm trying to throw different things. My goal was to throw in different things to see what people might have an interest in, because everybody's got their own. Let me talk on the reverse mortgages and let me talk about the auction house or estate sales. You know, and again, with respect to reverse mortgages, reverse mortgages are helpful to allow someone to stay in their home. And that's really what it is if you want to be able to stay in your home. What I'm concerned about is what if it's no longer safe for you to stay in your home. Then you need to start looking at other options. And I just realized there was a major option I didn't even mention. See, I rattle so quickly sometimes. So anyway, reverse mortgages are good for the right situations. I personally, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. But for some people, that is the only place they're going to go to find money. Keep in mind, what the reverse mortgage does is it allows you to pull money out as needed. And obviously, when you pass away, the house is going to be sold, and they're going to be getting money. You want to make sure, and again, but the whole idea is if the person can stay in their home. Sometimes they'll pull the money out with the reverse mortgage to also help pay for some home care if needed too. So to help them stay in the home. That's really the reason they'll do a reverse mortgage. They're not going to do a reverse mortgage if they're going to go into a care community. With respect to the auction house or estate sales, you can do those. If you're going to do a sale, the question is who's going to do it. Are you going to, there's different estate sale companies out there. A lot of them, they'll charge anywhere from 25 to 40% depending on how much work there is, what they think they might be making out of it, what kind of good stuff there might be. Some things you might want to take to special places. Maybe you have some fine art or some things that, could go for a better dollar. There's also people, you can go and put things on consignment where, they'll try to get the best dollar and they'll do like a 60-40 split where you'll get 60% of the money, 40%. But estate sales, if you're going to do it yourself, if you have time, that's great. It's not, if you look at the amount of time it's going to spend you to get ready for the estate sale, it is not worth your time. You may be better off donating or again, if you know somebody who can do Facebook Marketplace or that sort of thing, or a consignment place and go that route. But what I've seen with estate sales, unless you've got a lot of very valuable items, it's not worth your time, and most of those people will also go and hire a professional estate sale company. And they'll come in, they'll clean the stuff up, present it, put it all nice, and inventory everything, and then, here's your check. So you can do that. It is an option. Well, the kids wanted, everybody, the kids will say, oh, we should do a sale, but nobody wants to do the work. So again, it's better if you think there's stuff that could be sold, have a company come in, because the good ones will tell you if it's worth the time or not for even them to look at it. Okay? There was a lady over here with a question. Oh, well, that is a great question. The question is, what's the average cost of going into assisted living? What's the monthly rate? Well, depends on how many amenities and all the other. Location is number one. I can tell you that there are areas that are much more expensive than other areas. I would say for assisted living, you're probably looking at $4,000 a month and up. It could be $4,000, $6,000 to $8,000. If you're looking at memory care, you're probably starting at a minimum of $6,000 to $8,000. It could be $10,000. Or I've had clients paying $12,000 and $13,000 a month. Just like, and I've had somebody real quick that put the dad into hospice, but had him go into a hospice facility. And I go, really? And you're paying for it? And she goes, $15,000 a month. I go, why? Well, this way Dad is near some of the kids and this and that. Well, it didn't go well. The one out of state seems to be the one farthest away, seems to get all the fun. The one out of state was the one left in charge, and he had to make more trips from Ohio back to Lansing. Oh my gosh, it was horrid. And the first few days Dad was there, the son was staying with him 24/7, and Dad was screaming and calling him every single name because he didn't want to be there. He wanted to be in his house, but it wasn't safe in his house. He didn't remember to take his medications and things like that. Like I said, their case was, oh my gosh, we never knew Dad was so bad. But it is not cheap to be in some of these. One of the things that people will look at, and I'm glad you asked that, is a concept that a lot of people don't even know is there. How many of you have heard of residential assisted living homes? Okay, a few. Let me tell you what those are. You know, we all see the big boxes going up, that's what they call the big communities. They call them big boxes because they have all the bells and whistles, and, you know, they'll have so many aides, but, you know, they have the same turnover of aides like anywhere else. They have, you know, and there's a lot of people for each person to be taken care of. The residential assisted living homes, here in Michigan, there are 3 levels. The first level is called a small home, and that means 1 to 6 beds. Typically, it will be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, ranch home. It may be a 2-story, but that would limit who could be there unless they put in an elevator or some type of seat lift up the stairs. When they have somebody in the small home, you won't even know it's there because it could be your next door neighbor. There are no zoning laws to prevent it being anywhere. The real key is, what does the property have? You know, some of them only have three bedrooms and 1 bath if they're going to have 6 people. And again, it's from 1 to 6 people. And then, you know, but it's a regular house. I can tell you there, when I started looking at it, and again, I live in Troy, there was this area in Troy. I go, wow, there's ranches over there. I started looking it up and I go, oh my gosh, I hit the jackpot of small residential assisted living homes. They were all all ranches, because most of them are. And I found out by talking to the person in the Troy offices that that is probably the most highly populated, and no one can stop them. So, okay, but again, you wouldn't even know they're there. They just look like a regular house, but you'll see coming and going because of the aides coming in. And they only need to have 1 person there at a time, 1 aide for 6 people. Then you go to, and the bedrooms, if the bedrooms themselves have to have, you know, again, it's a regular house, the bedrooms, the law would say, okay, the bedrooms have to be of a certain size. So if we have 2 beds in a bedroom, you have, let's say this is the bedroom, this is a bed over here and a bed over here. There has to be at least 3 feet between the beds, and each person has to have, for their own space, 70 square feet or more. That's not a whole lot of space from where I come from. But it's there. Sometimes they may have private bedrooms and private baths. It all depends. But again, most of them are just regular houses that they just have the bedrooms and stuff. And you might recognize it because it'll have a ramp by the house and all too. Then the next size is the 7 to 12 bed homes. Now those are a little bit bigger, and they actually will come with more amenities. First off, there has to be at least 2 people there at all times because of the ratio. And what happens is they have, a lot of them will have choices where we have, here's the single room with your private bath, and the bathrooms are usually, you know, the barrier-free shower, and a lot of these places, some, I should say, that I've looked at, they have barrier-free, great flow, even the regular houses if they've done any renovation. But they'll have each person having their own bathroom and shower, or it may be a Jack and Jill shower, because, you know, you don't need a shower for every person, you know, but here's the shower in the middle of it, let every person have a toilet, and they have private rooms. Or they could be shared rooms, because if there's a husband and wife coming in, are going to stay there, or maybe 2 sisters I've seen staying in the room. So the 7 to 12. But then and there aren't a whole lot of 7 to 12 beds. And there used to not be as many 13 to 20 bed places, but I'm seeing more of them. And being built around here. And that is in my opinion, the sweet spot, because you're going to get 3 aides. Most of these places, you know, a lot of them now being built, they're having single bedrooms with their own bathroom. They have the common area where they all eat and do things. They have the backyard they can go to. It's like a huge house. And it's really cool. I was actually looking at building some in Troy, got everything approved with the city and all. In fact, they were just like so excited. They were chomping at the bit and said, we didn't know that property was for sale. I said, it's not, but they'll sell to me when they are ready. I just want to know what I can do. And you know, this was designed so that every person had their own room and all of that. And then when you walk in, you know, let's face it, you walk into a lot of places, you see a wall. Here it was designed, you walk in, you see all the way through, you saw the courtyard, the patio, this, that, the other, and it was designed to be very comfortable. You know, we were almost to do it, and then COVID hit. Well, I can tell you, COVID has taught me a few things about changing design on that. But there are different ones I'm seeing being built in the area, and you can spot, you know, again, when you know what you're looking for, you can spot it going, wow, what is that building? It seems like a big house. Again, that's a house. It doesn't look like a box. It's a house. Now, those places usually are a little bit cheaper, and they may start in the 3s, okay, for assisted living. People don't go there for independent living, but for assisted living. So they could go there. And then again, depending on the amenities and things like that. But if you go to these residential assisted living homes, they're not there to provide you with medical care. They are there to provide a safe, clean place for your loved ones and to make sure they're taking their medications. Those homes typically will have, you know, they'll call you if the person has to go to the hospital and or different things. They let you know what might be needed. They'll have, sometimes they may have more interactive communication with the family than the big boxes. You know, it's just a whole different way of living. And what's really kind of cool is when you drive up to them, the bigger ones, the 13 to 20 beds, they have to have the covering over the drive so that you get out without the rain hitting you and that sort. In the ones we were designing, there's going to be a garage. We are in Michigan. It is going to snow. It's going to be pouring rain. And I have dealt with that in Wisconsin where you may have that little awning, but you're still going to get wet. You're still going to get the snow, and you're going to get everything. Even the awning doesn't keep you dry.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been meaning to ask this question.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm going to forget.
Oh, then you got to ask. Nope. Then you got to ask. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any disadvantages to moving in with a child with a mother-in-law apartment?
Okay, the question is, are there disadvantages of moving in with your child if they have a mother-in-law apartment? Now, the mother-in-law apartment is attached?
Yes.
Okay, but do you have a separate entrance?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Can you lock the door in between?
Yes.
I'm waiting to hear a no on something. Do you get along with them?
Yes.
Will they allow you your independence?
I think so.
They allow you to keep driving and all of that? Are they looking at having you come in to be a babysitter?
No.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, come and live, you know. So that's why I'm asking. Is it intended that you'll have your own place and they'll have theirs? You're going to have meals together or separate? And you know, I think it's wonderful if you have that ability. Because if you don't like it, you can leave. You're not tied up in anything. Yeah. Now, the question becomes, is the house already there? Are you helping to put money in to buy a place like that?
No, the house is already there.
Oh, cool. So the house is already there. She's not putting in her own money. Are you going to have to pay for anything?
I don't know.
No.
We haven't gotten
that far. Okay. So I like the idea because then there's somebody who can pay attention, you know, because that's, even when you go to any of these communities, you move in, somebody's got to pay attention to how things are going. Like I said, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, I think what you have to do is before you move in, you kind of talk about where the boundaries are and what's expected from each.
Right.
But I have seen my best friend in Wisconsin, unfortunately, her mom has suddenly gone into hospice, and they ended up combining, she's an only child, my friend, and they ended up combining monies to buy this nice house in the, up on, of all places, it's called Holy Hill in Wisconsin, and they're right on the hill. And mom has the basement apartment with the walkout. She can go watch the birds and doing all of that. But she comes up and they do meals, and she'll do the, you know, laundry and this and that, and you know, that's like she's there, but she has her own retreat. And it has worked out for over 10 years, and beautiful.
Okay.
So, and so, you know, again, as long as everybody knows the expectations.
Exactly.
The other thing I would say, if you are staying with them, then I would highly recommend, if you have any estate plan documents in place, that that child be put on as a medical person.
Exactly.
And also the husband, because I had somebody on Gross Eel, you know, the son and daughter-in-law were the only ones there. The other son lives out of state, and so we put the daughter-in-law on the HIPAA, because HIPAA means you can share information, so we did that, because she's the one who took the mother-in-law to the doctor all the time. She wasn't a decision maker, but at least she can talk. But I think if you have the ability to live, you know, in a separate housing next to your, you know, next to your child, that, and you all get along good, it's a great way to do it. Okay?
Okay.
Uh,
I just
yeah.
wondered if there were any things that I would have to be particularly concerned about, but I think you've covered that.
Well, you know, again, you have to talk about, are we chipping in, are we going to have meals together? What do you want me to chip in for the meals? Do you want anything for utilities?
Yeah,
you know,
and boundaries.
you know,
You
yeah,
know, you
yeah,
gotta
boundaries. You're not coming in, you know,
establish
yeah,
boundaries.
exactly. That's really it. And I can, like I said, I can tell you that in my friend's case, it has been the greatest thing.
Okay. Okay.
Greatest
That's what I
thing.
wanted to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Other questions? Yes, I've been looking at the clock. If anybody notices, I kind of glance that way. Yeah, anybody who, if you need to leave, it's okay. If you want to stay and have questions, it's okay. Oh my God, we got to do the raffle. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, Vanessa's got plans for
And there is a lot of detail. My goal was to cover a lot of concepts for you, because there's things that you don't know that you should know about. And, you know, the gentleman that brought up about doing an auction house or estate sale, you know, everybody thinks their stuff is worth money. I can tell you it's not. It's because nobody wants it. How many people end up doing a sale, and the next thing you know, what they're really doing is they're calling and giving it for donating because nobody wants it. Okay, so we are auctioning off. We'll do 5. We are auctioning off, and again, you can respectfully decline, but in this book about paying for long-term care, there is a lot more detail. You know, it'll go into a lot of detail about the places, the communities, about how to pay, that sort. So anyway, I know we have our hard stop, so I appreciate you staying and asking questions, and I hope you learned a few things along the way.